across the entire, whatever your operating memory is for that particular section of the game.
Right.
I remember just thinking, wow, because we have this completely naive illusion, me and a lot of other gamers do, is that, oh, it's games, you can do anything, let your imagination run wild, but this rather tricksy fellow memory is always dogging behind you. And that, to me, is like super interesting. And it's kind of like trying to write iambic pentameter, You have the seeming illusion of being able to say or do whatever you want, but the demands of metric and rhyme just weighing down at you at every corner.
What percentage of the constraints that you face as a writer then on a game like Gears of War Judgment are purely technical, and which are just, creative limits, or that's not the story we want to tell, or we don't want to go there?
With Gears, they were almost all technical. I mean, 99% of them were technical.
Yeah. So what you ultimately have to do is, I don't know, rein in is probably too negative, but you have to understand where you can go and where you can't go and keep it inside that circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it must be frustrating to some degree, right? I mean, you must have ideas floating around that you just simply can't, or roads you'd like to travel down that you just simply stop.
Yeah, no, we did. And, Rob and I were throwing out all sorts of ideas early on when we were thinking of levels and stories. And when the schedule for the game was pretty tight. And asset creation, there's one. Asset and prop creation. Oh, God, this is so interesting. So after we wrote our cinematic scripts, I was looking around in the Perforce kind of shared archive, that they have. And I found this document no one had ever showed us, which was someone had gone through our script and identified all of the unique props that would be needed in the cinematics.
Of course.
Like a swinging chandelier, a gavel, a book, just things that we mentioned in the script. And I just thought, oh, someone will just, they'll just appear in the cinematics. But no, someone had to go and make them.
Yeah.
They had to make them. They had to, design them and put meshes on them and, figure out how they fit, into the scene, and then assign all these values and properties to them. And I found this memo and I looked at it and I just thought, I know nothing about this process. And it was fascinating, and it was a real eye opener, because just mentioning a chandelier resulted in hours and hours and hours of work for a couple people at Epic.
Yeah.
That's fascinating, isn't it?
It is fascinating. Yeah. Yeah, and it argues for what you were saying before, is it's actually, bringing